All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shema, Kakwadash. The one is the elders and apostles of your millstone, chief message to rule and teach well. Gonna get into this Sirach. Oh my gosh. 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. We'll start here. Be not unequally yoked together, unbelievers, for fellowship have righteousness, unrighteousness, and what communion have light of darkness. Right? So, communion, G8 2842, association, community, communion, joint participation, intercourse. Alright, so we're not supposed to have joint communication with those who believe, with those who are in darkness, right? Or unrighteous, right? What's unrighteous? Those who, refuse to acknowledge the name, who don't believe in the name, those who don't acknowledge, this ministry, who don't acknowledge Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, first and foremost, who don't acknowledge, our laws, and don't, who clearly are in opposition to them, right? Those are those we're not supposed to have communion with, right? And the word communion, as I said, I don't think I went to communion. Yeah, I think I did go to communion, but that word fellowship, I don't think I went to. Sharing communion, fellowship, association. I'm not supposed to have any association with them, right? If at possible, be peaceable with all men, right? So be peaceable with, these people in the world. Don't be a lion in your own house. Also, don't be a lion in the streets as well, man. We're not supposed to be, just snapping on people and shit, shit like that. Sometimes, people, try to, push your buttons, but, just compose yourself and remove yourself, Lord willing, of course, Lord willing, you brothers out there, always be safe out there, that whenever you leave, be safe, come home safe, man. We always gotta pray for that, man. Pray for each other too. Pray that the whole elect be safe out here, right? And what Concord has Yoshem Mashiach with Belial report, hath he that believeth with an infidel, right? So, Yahshua has no part with Belial, right? It's here another name for Satan, right? In other words, of course, Yahshua sits on the right hand, Satan is on the left hand, right? But, they're different, Satan is over with demons, Yahushua is head over angels, right? Of course, Yahushua is above Satan, right? Of course, he was around before Satan, right? Because Yahushua was the first spirit created. Out of him came everything else, angels, demons, everything else came after Yahushua. Yahushua is the firstborn. But you have those who are called the children of Belial or Belial, right? Worthless, ruin, destruction. Yeah, ungodly men, wicked. Right, so the sons of Belial. Belial would be Bunyam Belial, right? Worthless, those without profit, right? The children without profit, unprofitable children of destruction, ungodly, right? So we see it. Ungodliness, unrighteousness is always synonymous with destruction, right? Because this one here, the wrath of the Most High comes from the children of disobedience. This book of Ephesians chapter 5 verse 6. Let no man deceive with vain words, because these things come with the wrath of the Most High upon the children of disobedience. Right, so children of disobedience are these 2/3, man. And they're gonna incur the wrath of the Most High. So all throughout scriptures, destruction is always, synonymous with those who, are ungodly, who are unrighteous, right? Always destruction. Now you read the scriptures, read the Old Testament. Those who lacked faith, those who didn't follow instructions, those who were wicked, always found destruction, right? All the wicked kings of Judah and Israel, all of them, had bad ends, man. None of them were just, blessed and blessed and blessed and blessed. They all had died, killed each other. Someone killed them. They got murdered. I think someone got lit on fire and shit. All kinds of shit. Book of 2 Thessalonians 3, 13. But ye brethren, be not weary in well doing, right? So we're not supposed to be weary. We're not supposed to be weak, spiritless, exhausted, right? And we gotta, I gotta rebuke myself on that, man. Gotta get into making these videos, man. Because when you do, I was talking to a brother about this a long time ago. When I was going to the midweek camp, and I asked for instruction, because I was fucking up on making videos for a minute, not like a week, minute. I think I maybe went over a week once, right? And I felt so bad. I was sick, but I had to push myself to make the videos. I was like, I can't do this, and I can't be sick like that again either. So now I think about that, I gotta remind myself to that. I gotta get back into the herbs, because I haven't used anything in a hot minute. Just been, focusing on work and things like that, but gotta get back into it. But, I was pretty much, told that, hey, make your videos early in the morning, and try to get them done then. If you have to, go to work or whatever. Because when you go to work, being around these 2/3 and these niggas, man, it literally drains, the spirit out of you, man. Not I'm saying like it drains the Holy Spirit from you, but it drains you, your mind, your waking hours when you think about it, right? Because your spirit and your mind are the same. When you're out there, your waking hours, the hours when you're most alert, 9 to 5, is spent at this man's job, right? So afterwards, you don't really want to do shit after, but you just gotta muster up the energy, to do it, and not, fall asleep and fall out of this thing, man. Because if you fall out this thing, you're just gonna get destroyed, right? I remember Elder Pastor, I think he said it, it's like the mafia. They say, by the sword you shall live, and by the sword you shall die, Yeah, I don't want to say that word like that, but, they basically make that vow when they come in. They say, hey, if you're in this thing, you're in this thing for life. You live in this thing, and you're gonna die, and die by this thing, right? It's like that. But this is high stakes, right? If you choose to be in this thing, you have to know what you're in. If you fall out, though he could have mercy on you, but he could not. You could just be destroyed. Now you're, putting yourself at jeopardy, right? And it's no one's fault but yourself, because you fell out and you lost patience. And so, right here, you were disobedient, and then, wrath of the Most High cometh upon the children of disobedience. So, you're incurring the Most High's wrath by, losing patience and saying, man, fuck this, right? So we don't want to be like that. If any man be not a word by this epistle, note that man have no company with them, that he may be ashamed, right? So have no company with him, right? But you see here, they count him not as an enemy, but admonish him as a brother, right? But you have certain people you can't, just admonish, right? See the word admonish, caution, reprove, right? Some people, you can't approve, but then you have others that just get kicked out, right? And of course, I can't really talk on it like that, but some people you can, approve, and other people you set out, right? Like when you're on the street and someone comes up, some people you can reprove and they say, okay, now I get it. But then there's some people who are just like, man, fuck all that. And then you say, all right, bro, thumbs up, you do you, man. and you just stop talking to them. You keep going, you keep talking, right? So that's pretty much it. Just wanted to go into the two scriptures to identify. Say shalom.